When we photograph insects, the instinct is to usually get closer. More magnification, more detail, more of the insect filling the frame. But what happens if we do the opposite? What if the insect becomes a tiny mark within the photograph and everything around it becomes part of the story? This is minimalistic insect photography. When we photograph insects, our instinct is to get closer. Get a macro lens on your camera, get closer, maybe get a specialist 1 to 5 times macro lens to get right up there and do insect portraits. But it doesn't always have to be like that. You can have a go at minimalist insect photography, and it can turn any ordinary beetle, fly, damselfly into something surprisingly poetic. So what makes an insect photograph minimalistic? A ladybird on one curved blade of grass, a damselfly against a blue sky, or a butterfly in a meadow? Minimalism isn't simply photographing fewer things. It's deciding exactly what the viewer needs and removing anything else. An insect photograph that might be one subject, one plant, a stem, a large area of empty sky. It might be a dark silhouette against the setting sun, or an insect occupying only a small percentage of the frame. The insect doesn't have to fill the frame, it only has to hold your attention. An empty space is the empty area around your subject. It tells us how small the insect is, it creates a sense of isolation, calm and vulnerability. It can also suggest movement when we leave space in front of the insect. A tiny beetle surrounded by green doesn't feel insignificant. It feels like a punctuation mark. The emptiness gives it emphasis. Try placing the insect away from the center and leaving space in the direction that it is looking. This is seriously useful for when you're photographing insects in flight as they're about to take off. You frame them in such a way that they're going into the frame. A successful minimalist photograph usually contains one readable action. An ant reaching for another leaf, a mantis raising its front legs, a spider crossing a curved bridge. You don't need dramatic behavior, you only need small gestures that are powerful enough that it competes in the frame. When you're framing up the scene and before you press the shutter, ask yourself a question. Does this contain things that simplify it? When you're framing up, always take a look at the background. Sometimes you can have a messy background, so move your camera around to try and remove the messy background and create a minimalistic style of colour. Pastel colours work really well for this type of photography, but you just want to blur out that background. One way to do that is to do the opposite than what I always teach on the channel, and that's to go wide open. So normally when we are photographing insects, we want to go to an f8, to an f14. In this instance, I'm going to tell you to go to the widest aperture available. On this macro lens, that is an f2.8. Because we're doing minimalistic insect photography, we are backed off away from the subject, which increases the depth of field, which means we no longer need to close down our f-stop to get everything in focus. By far, one of the most important parts is the background, so maintain a look on the background, get it blown out as much as possible using angles, and again opening up your aperture as wide as possible. But the background can make or break your image. Another thing you can do to help with your minimalistic photography is to use guiding lines. Now in insect photography, that can be a blade of grass like this one that has a common blue butterfly on it. A leading line that comes from the corner or the edge of the frame can really help guide the viewer to your subject. They're all very simple, very small tricks that you can do, but when you add them all up, they make for a fantastic image. So I'm going to start off with the macro lens. So this is the 100mm macro lens for the Sony system. And again, we're going to set it to 2.8. Now when it comes to the settings for minimalistic, it's going to change for every single situation. So I can't really give you the settings, but I can give you a ballpark figure to think about. Again, we are already at a wide aperture. We're going to back off away from the insect. That gives more depth of field, gives it a minimalistic look. We're going to set a shutter speed that will freeze the action. So for this particular setup, I'm out here photographing insects out here, it might be around 500 to 1000. I'm not doing insects in flight, they are static and on branches. And then I will simply set the ISO to auto. And that's it. I mean, I can't make it no easier than that for you. The rest of it is down to you. eyeing the frame, getting leading lines, blurring out that background and nailing your focus. If your camera supports insect subject detect autofocus, then go ahead and try using that. I've had no problem using it for minimalistic insect photography. If not, switch it to manual and just move your camera in and out, or use a focusing ring to get your focusing. When it comes to the minimalistic insect photography, all I do is I just walk around an area and try and find the insects to photograph. And here's the plus point. If you've ever struggled with working distance, the insects flying away because you've gotten too close, they won't do it with minimalistic insect photography because you're not getting too close to disturb them, and it's a lot more peaceful. Oh, yeah, nice. Now, if this is something that you're into, macro photography in particular, and you want to learn more, then check out my upcoming Sony workshop on the 16th of September. This workshop is going to cover everything from beginner to advanced. Camera settings, composition, lighting. We're going to be doing natural light, flash with diffusing light, all the type of setups that you could possibly imagine are there on hand to give you tips on it. We're also going to be covering composition, framing, how to get a clean background. We're going to be doing focus stacking and editing. But not only that, but also Sony are going to be on hand to help with your camera, your settings, and also they will have Sony gear for you to borrow during the workshop. So if you've got an eye on a new camera or a new lens for your macro photography, then come along to the Sony workshop at the Rosa Centre on the 16th of September and you'll be able to try out the gear. Book in with the link in the description below and I'll see you on the 16th. One of the most important things that I want to talk to you about when it comes to minimalist insect photography is the fact that you haven't got to buy any new gear to try it out. You can do it with almost any lens that's in your kit. So no need to go out and get a macro lens, no need to go and get extension tubes. Have you got an 85mm lens in your bag? You can use that. Have you got a 50mm lens like this? Use that. Or maybe you might have a wildlife lens. You can even use that. Minimalistic insect photography is a great way to try out insect photography before committing yourself to buying gear for macro photography. It really is. I mean, you can go out, you can just use the lenses you've got, look for a minimalistic scene, and when it comes to the backgrounds, the further away the background is from the insect, the more blurred out it's going to be as well. It's a great area of photography if you're coming from landscapes, portraiture, street or sports, where you might think, do I want to do macro or don't I want to do macro? Well, give minimalistic insect photography a go before stepping into the whole macro rabbit hole, because that goes deep and very confusing and can get very expensive. So give it a go with the lenses and the gear you already have. You know where I'm always saying there's always something to learn. I'm always learning. And that's basically what the channel is about. I learn something and I teach you. I'm always using my EVF, so I'm always against the camera like this. And one of the reasons I do that is to block out the environment. So if it's a noisy environment, there's lots of people about, I can single out and concentrate on the shot. But also it helps to stabilize the camera. Now this is important when you're doing 3, 4, 5 times magnification. But when you're doing minimalistic insect photography, you're not at that magnification, which means we can use the back of the screen. So we can just point it in and out. Some people like to do that anyway, but we can do that and take the picture, use the autofocus again, because the autofocus works on this type of photography. We can also flip out the screen. So if we want to get vertical, low down, we can get our screen out like this and we can use it that way. So minimalist insect photography you can do immediately after watching this video. Grab your gear, going out. We can do it at any time of the day, with any type of gear. And again, because we are not at a macro scale, your autofocus on your lens will work. Doesn't matter about the working distance because you're going to be further away than your closest working distance is on your lens anyway. I think one of the best things that you might want to try is, if your camera does support insect subject detect autofocus, give that a go, because so far on my Sony a7 IV it hasn't let me down doing this minimalistic insect photography. So minimalistic insect photography is a challenge I have set up within my macro and close-up photography community on School. This is the whole reason I'm doing this video, is for the members to take a look at it, get some inspiration on how to do it, and to go out and hit that challenge head on and get an image in for this month's challenge. If that's something that you might be interested in, then check out the description below for a link to my School community. We have lots of learning materials in there. discussions, live calls. If that's something you're interested in, then check the link out in the description. Minimalistic inset photography, quite frankly, is a breath of fresh air from trying to get closer and closer and closer. Another advantage to it is the fact that you don't need to focus stack. As we magnify in, we lose depth of field and we have to focus stack to get our insects in focus, whereas with minimalistic inset photography, we don't have to. And you notice I said insect photography because this is not macro photography. It's a truly breath of fresh air to not have to worry about magnifications, f-stops, diffraction, approaching the subject in such a way that we don't scare it. We haven't got a flash on here, we haven't got a diffuser. It really is a breath of fresh air when it comes to doing insect photography. I hope I've encouraged you to go out and give this the go, even if you don't have a macro lens. Again, you can use any lens that's in your kit bag to do this type of photography, and it might encourage you to slow down, look around and be mindful of the tiny world. Let me know in the comments below if you are going to have a go at minimalistic insect photography. I don't really reply to the comments, so if you do need to get any questions answered, then join my community on School. Again, there's a link in the description. In there, I'm always available to answer any questions you may have. I want to thank you for getting to the end of this video. My name's Stewart Wood and I will see you on the next one. This is minimalistic. Do you know how long it took me to learn that word? I wrote the script on Monday. It's Friday now. Or butterfly in a meadow surrounded by brown grass. Yes, that wasn't taken in the evening or in a golden light hour. That was taken in the middle of the day because this area is so dry now. I can't say that, it's green behind me. Or an insect occupying only a negative space is the apparently. Yeah. Negative. It can also. Fuck me, man. What the hell are they eating when they're not eating stew? This is a useful technique. Dude, seriously? You're not being paid to go on YouTube. Go away. A successful minimalist. And now we've got to wait for a dick to come over in an airplane. I love Blifffield, but the only problem is the people coming over in the airplanes. Pain in the ass on the audio. Just send out a memo to all the local airfields and go, right, no taking off while Stu does a YouTube video. Because I'm important enough for that. Use that. Or maybe you might have a wildlife lens. You can even use that. Fuck me, that was lucky. I might drop that one then. You know, the amount of shit pictures I've got by pretending to take pictures on this card is unbelievable.